Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Rachel Baker, the founder of Tejo.ca, the host for today's session. I want to thank everyone for attending. And if you're interested in attending similar events geared towards people running cosmetic businesses, please join our mailing list. You can join our mailing list by going to tejo.ca and hitting the subscribe button. I'll also provide a link for you to join our mailing list as well. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Marla and Mimi. Marla currently leads engagement solutions for the division of Ventura Associates International, and she has a long history of implementing engaging sales promotion programs. And she will be talking to us today about sales promotion programs. And Mimi Banks has more than 20 years of experience in the beauty industry. And she spent the majority of her career at L'Oreal, where she led social media for Lancome. And today she is going to speak to us about results-driven social media. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Marla to the floor to begin speaking about engagement programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for the warm welcome, and thank you everyone for coming. We're going to talk about driving engagement with giveaways today. Our presenters are myself, Marla Altberg, and Mimi Banks. Please take note of our email addresses, especially Mimi's. This is the correct one, mimi@mimibsocial.com. Some of the slides have incorrectly her old email address. So if you want to contact us after, please take a snapshot of this slide, and we can also send you the presentation PDF if you'd like to. And there's a lot of content in here that you might want to reference at a later date. So take it away, Mimi.
Thank you, Marla. Just a quick introduction. I am the founder of MB Social. We are a boutique social media agency between New York and LA for businesses, brands, entrepreneurs, and talent. As Rachel had said, I have 20 years in the beauty industry, of which 15 were at L'Oreal, both in the US and France. And from a social media perspective, our agency focuses on strategy, social media management, community management, content creation, and social media training. We work with a lot of different clients, a lot of L'Oreal brands, CeraVe, La Roche-Posay, Thayers. You'll notice a lot of skincare brands, and also businesses and tech. And so we work on everything from running people's social media community to even doing one-on-one consultations. And so I'm here for any questions that you have about social, and we're super excited to talk to you. So what we're going to look at today specifically are why giveaways. Why giveaways are an important part of your strategy for all things social. We're going to go through the differences between sweepstakes and contests, because there is a very big difference to understand. Some examples based on programs that Marla has done, guidelines that you want to follow and to make sure that you adhere to, specifically when it comes to FTC and compliance. And then finally finish with some communication examples of when it comes to social, how you can make sure to promote your contests. So first, when you're thinking about it, why would you do a contest and why a promotion? What's the added value here? The first reason is brand awareness. A lot of different kinds of contests allow you to drive incremental brand awareness through your campaigns, whether it's because you did a tag a friend, whether somebody else has shared it, but it's a great, easy way to have brand amplification. The second, which is what we're really going to focus on today, is about engagement. It's a great way to provide your community, both new and also existing people, an engaging way and a fun way to be on your page, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's Instagram or Twitter. People love contests in general, so it just adds an element of fun. The third is community growth. It's a great way also to see a spike in numbers if vanity metrics are really important, or you're just looking for a bump on your Instagram community specifically. A lot of people do contests where you have to like and follow, whether they do it by themselves or with a partner. You'll see that contests really work. I've worked with a few clients that have done contests that are part of a larger community and have seen even upwards of 100,000 followers overnight. So that's really exciting.
Wow.
One of the last ones are name collections. You'll see what Marla is going to show you is that if you do any kind of gated contest or something that drives someone to a URL, it's a great way to build your email database. And when you build your email database, that becomes added value because you have targeted users who have already passed through your social channels. And finally, the last one is product trial. If you do a contest that involves any kind of giveaway of or sampling of your product, you get your product into the hands of new people who are already engaged with your brand. So just as a little bit of a background, look at how many people enter contests. I just typed in sweeps and I typed in contests into Instagram just to see the volume and millions of people who actually enter contests. So you'll see the hashtags from sweeps to contests, from contest giveaways is wild. It's so many people. There's even a hashtag called sweepstakes alert. So there are people probably who are just looking for a contest. And so you'll get volumes of people because the potential is huge.
Thanks, Mimi. But it's important to know that what you don't know can hurt you. As Mimi mentioned, sweepstakes contest games, they all have major differences. And you use the different techniques for a different marketing reason. We're going to discover the legal difference first between sweepstakes and contests in the next slide. But you also know that, of course, technology has really taken off. There's so many social media that you can use. There are complex apps, advert games, text messaging, all kinds of ways to reach your consumer and engage your consumer. That being said, there are many, many details that go into the planning of a flawless promotion. You need to make sure you build in enough lead time. I mean, yes, we've been known to start a promotion overnight. Don't do that. That's when you don't get the chance to work out the kinks. But worst comes to worst, sometimes you have to. A good amount of lead time is 1 to 2 months, but we'll get into that. Now, staying on top of the legal issues is very important as well. The social media guidelines change on a regular basis. In fact, just between the time of starting this deck a few weeks ago and getting it ready for today, we had to update one of the slides because the guidelines changed. So just want to let you know that your sweepstakes agency like us or your lawyer will stay on top of that for you. First, let's discover the basic difference between sweepstakes and contests, and pay attention because there will be a quiz and you could win a prize. We're going to have our own sweepstakes later. The basic laws that cover that govern promotions with prize or chance, etc., are the lottery laws. A lottery has 3 elements to it. You have your prize, which is whatever money or product you could win. Excuse me, goes back. Sorry about that. You have chance, which is the randomness of winning, and you have consideration, which is the purchase of a product or the payment of a fee. So everyone knows about a state lottery. Many states have them, almost all of them. So you have millions of dollars in prizes, you pick your lucky numbers, and you're paying your dollar. Prize, chance, and consideration is a lottery. Only the government can do a lottery. So as a marketer, we have a choice between a sweepstakes and a contest. In a sweepstakes, you keep the prize because you wouldn't have a promotion without the prizes. You still have chance. Chance is the randomness of winning. So that could be a drawing out of the virtual drum. It could be scratching off an entry ticket, peeling back, using a lucky code, and therefore no consideration can be required. All the sweepstakes rules are going to say no purchase necessary. You can ask for the purchase, but you can't require it in a sweepstakes. So there always has to be a free method of entry when you're awarding prizes by chance. A contest, on the other hand, we replace chance with skill. Skill being the best essay, the best photograph, the best recipe. And contests are judged on criteria that are in the rules and it's all skill-based. In most states, not every state, but in most states, you can require a purchase. Further on legal considerations, for sweepstakes, like I said, you have to build in lead time. If you're going to give away $5,000 value or more in prizes, the prize structure has to be registered, and that is in 2 states, New York and Florida, with a bond and with lead time. So New York is a month lead time, Florida is a week, but it takes time to get the bonds, the rules, and all of that. So that's where about a 2-month comfortable lead time comes in. Rhode Island is less strict. No bond is required, but if you're giving away $500 or more in product, if you're at retail, in physical retail stores or even online retail, so anybody who sells your product, any of you who sell your product online, this is going to apply to you. Most promotions have to be registered in Rhode Island, but it's pretty easy. Again, your lawyer or your sweepstakes agency will do that for you. For contests, the legal interpretation changes according to what lawyer you talk to. If you talk to 10 lawyers, you're going to get 10 different interpretations of which states you can require purchase and which you can't. States like Florida, Vermont, Maryland, New Jersey, maybe a few more. Most of those will not allow you to require the purchase. Most contests don't even require the purchase. It's just implied. And you'll see examples of some of that. In Arizona, while you can require a purchase, if you do that, you have to register. So it's much easier to just sort of imply the purchase. For any promotion, sweepstakes, or contest, any consumer who wins a prize valued at $600 or more does get taxed. There are many steps to compliance and many steps to running a successful promotion. The first thing you do is you decide what kind of prizes you want and target them to your audience demographics. If you can offer a prize that money just can't buy, or that's very germane to your brand, and we're going to see examples of those, that gives you that extra edge. So something that has to do with going to a brand event, or if you have a celebrity spokesperson, meeting that spokesperson, that's really impactful. The official rules come next by your lawyer or your agency. You do the creative materials. Somebody in legal has to review them. And then, as we just discussed, the sweepstakes may have to be registered according to the prize structure. Your web team or your agency will build the web pages and collect the online and offline entries, or they may be social posts, and those have to be gathered. Contest entries then are judged based on the criteria. There's no chance involved in a contest. The best person wins. If there's a tie, there's a way to break the tie. In a sweepstakes, random drawings are conducted. Then when the winners are selected, they have to sign papers. They have to swear they don't work for us, they don't work for you guys, they're of age, et cetera, et cetera. Once that's all done, you can send them the prizes and tax them. And then, of course, if the promotion is registered, there's back-end reporting required to the states. And as Mimi mentioned, you're definitely going to want to review your metrics, your opt-ins, et cetera. You use a sweepstakes to increase sales, generate traffic, whether it's online or off, and we'll see examples of both. Give you a competitive advantage, of course, get your displays up. For all social media, sweepstakes lends itself. And you can educate people about a new product. Of course, your database collection. As Mimi mentioned, you can get hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of new names and get back to them with product offers. As a matter of fact, we started probably at least 15 years ago with Saks Fifth Avenue doing one little sweepstakes once in a while for database collection. And they used those sweepstakes then on a monthly basis, still until this day, to build up their email database and launch their online business. And now their online business is totally a major part of their revenue. Let's see some examples here of sweepstakes. This is for Estee Lauder's Mad Men collection a few years ago of its product, and you had to take a picture of yourself in your Mad Men look and tweet it with a hashtag. We're definitely going to talk about hashtags, and you could win $1,000 plus an Estee Lauder Mad Men collection. For Bobbi Brown, you had to try on the foundation. Okay, here, no purchase is required. Just go into store, try it on, take your picture, and you can enter to win. Usher, here's the example of a prize that money can't buy. Usher had a new fragrance. He wanted you to sample it and tell what you thought about it. And you had to tweet that, and then you could win a VIP experience to actually meet Usher. Here's one for a hair care product. Sweepstakes are normally thought of as business to consumer, but they're also B2B. Many successful examples of that. Here you can see that you have the consumer fill in the top of the form, and then the consumer fills in the stylist. So there was a matching prize for the consumer and the stylist named on the consumer's entry. Both would win a trip for two to Puerto Rico. Here's one that takes advantage of 11 ways to enter on social media. You could win a Tesla. Tesla is a very hot prize right now. Of course, it requires a very big budget to do that. Mimi, did you want to add anything about things on the right here that you see?
I think there are different ways that you can have social drivers. Sometimes contests also are a good opportunity to say, follow us, tag us, and you can have more entries based on the social action. So depending on what your goals are, if you want more engagement, if you want more followers, that's a great way to up the ante.
Good. Excellent. Here's another one. This is an international promotion. So I want you to know that, yes, you can do promotions in the US and Canada. You can also do them in many countries internationally. If you want to do that, build in 4 to 6 months lead time and a lot of a legal budget, a lot of legal budget. But some brands want an international presence. And so this one, they were just giving away free product, and maybe they spent a few thousand in product and tens of thousands in legal. So just to let you know that. Here's another one for, you can see for stylists and consumers. Consumers could win a trip and stylists a different trip. And Mimi, this looks just like you. So maybe you were the model for this. Here's one for Mercedes-Benz fragrances. You filled out an entry form in stores, and you had to sample the fragrance and write what you thought about the fragrance on the entry form. Another one in store was more of a game, a lucky game. So in Nordstrom, Saks, etc. When you walked in the door, a hostess gave you a key, a metal key. You had to go to the Armani lipstick counter and see if your key opened up the treasure chest. If it did, you won all of the lipsticks inside. Another one for a hair care product, hair care line Matrix, giving away a Matrix card. This was advertised not only online, but on bottleneckers. And you got a lucky code on your bottle. They budgeted to have 6 months worth of product for the complete sell-through. They sold out in 2 months. This was so successful. And you went online, you put in your code, you saw if you won an instant prize. There was a salon finder. You could find out where you could get a good cut. And there was also a matching car given away to consumer and to a stylist. Finally, we have this Instagram bingo card for sensational products, and you had to fill up the bingo card with your photos with hashtags, and then you were supposed to post it for your chance to win a full collection of the line. Now we're going to switch gears. So we talked about sweepstakes, random selection. Now we're going into contests. You use contests when you might want to force a purchase, of course, increase sales, stimulate new product usage ideas because people can recommend new ways to use a product. Mostly they're used for publicity and user-generated content. It's best to use a contest when it reinforces the brand or the use of the brand. The best example I can think of is a recipe contest, the Pillsbury Bake Off. We've probably all heard of the Pillsbury Bake Off here in the US. You had to use Pillsbury flour to create a recipe, whether it's a pie, bread, etc. And then your recipes were judged by home economists for winning a big prize. So this one is for JLo, JLo's makeup line, and you had to upload your 60-second video to Instagram to win a trip to Vegas. This is for MAC. This was an international contest, almost global. The globe was broken into 6 regions of specific countries. The rules were vetted in all of those countries, so it was a very long lead time. The theme was Magnificent Me and Magnificent Me. And the whole point of the theme was to be yourself and you're okay just the way you are. And you had to put your mantra. This got 80,000 entries globally in a short amount of time. You can see it was also in other languages. This is the French version. They selected 6 global brand ambassadors to win a photo shoot. These people, they were on a display. And interestingly enough, one of the winners selected was a man. This is a promotion that I've noticed for many years, not a Ventura promotion. The other ones were. But for L'Oreal, L'Oreal's theme has always been You're Worth It. And this is the L'Oreal Women of Worth, strictly for publicity and altruistic purposes. L'Oreal is giving back. Women could submit their community service history and their community service project, and L'Oreal selected 10 winners to fund $10,000 grants for each of these. And actually, like I said, our company didn't do this one, but a friend of mine actually won one of these. So it was very exciting.
I can just add to that quickly. I think that, after working at L'Oreal, so Women of Worth has been a very big charity initiative for a long time where they want to give back. So this is, I guess, a form of a campaign where you can get a tremendous amount of brand awareness because of the way of you're tapping into new kinds of communities. So while L'Oreal Paris, the brand, might be looking at a specific consumer, now they can tap into different consumers and different communities from a brand perspective because of the philanthropic side. So that's like an interesting way of tapping into new audiences and brand awareness.
Excellent. Yes, totally agree with that. This one is a contest, a B2B only contest for stylists. They had to use the Matrix products and style a mannequin and submit the photograph. And here we have Charlotte Tilbury and Nordstrom's pairing together in the Project Confidence promotion, designed to instill women with confidence to be themselves and to take on a new challenge. So to enter, you had to submit a 3-minute video of what you wanted to accomplish and why a makeover and a trip would help you do that. And then this was user-generated content to be used on the Nordstrom website. Here for Clinique, this was a PR. Clinique was partnered with TED Talks. Those are very high-level intellectual seminars. And looking for the next smart idea, again, a very large international contest where you had to submit your idea to help humanity, and you could win $20,000 to help fund it. Okay, now we're going to get into, and I am not going to go through all of these.
I think just before we go into it, do we have any questions so far about types of promotions or examples or experiences that anybody has had?
Oh, good idea.
Actually, I do. Are there legal considerations for like giveaways valued under like $200 if we were just going to give like one of each of our products out as like a prize for something?
There are legal considerations no matter what you give away.
Okay.
Yes, not as complicated. So if you're just trying to make it low cost in the product because you think you won't have to deal with rules and all that stuff, that's not the case. But if it's like we discussed at the beginning, 5,000 or more has to be registered in New York and Florida, 500 or more in Rhode Island. But I don't want you to be shy of doing a promotion that gives away a substantial prize structure, because the better the prize structure, the better the response.
Right. We're just starting up. So the thing that we were going to do was just give away a couple of kits of just like our first 3 products we're launching. So I'm just curious what we would have to do there.
First of all, that's great. People love free things. So the fact that you're giving anything away to start is huge, because you'd be surprised, just anything free, people really like it, especially if it's new products. That's number one.
Right.
That's great. I think
if we were going to do like I was just going to say, if we were going to do like a tag your friend for a chance to win a free kit,
Right. Right.
Is there anything legally we have to register?
So there's two things you just have to do, at least on my side, that we make sure. It's enter for a chance to win. There's language that you have to use. And then typically you have to make sure that there are rules and T's and C's. You might want to put that on the back side of like a blank page on your website and change that to the link in your bio so that people have access, if it's on social, just always have access to the rules, because you'd be surprised the amount of trolls that you get. People ask, or they'll find typos. Even with the biggest brands we work on, we've had people say, oh, there's a typo here, or just looking at the considerations because we want to know if it's in the US or if it's international, those kinds of things. So at a very basic level, make sure you have that.
Okay, so just protecting ourselves from people that didn't win that might try to get creative. Okay, cool.
Correct.
Awesome, thank you so much.
And a lot of those are also online though. So if you here's my hack for that. Scroll around, look for someone else doing a contest, and then click on their rules so that there's typically a format there or a template that you can use to start from.
Perfect.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really do that unless, if you're giving away something major, don't do that, because I have seen a lot of mistakes from people doing that. Not just typos, but some really serious legal mistakes. I'm not so worried about when you're giving away $200 worth of product, but if you're going to give away a trip, if you're going to give away a car, if you're going to give away $1,000 worth of product, anything more than a few $100s, you really shouldn't just do that. You definitely need to at least check with your hospital.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, you can check that. You want to check that with legal, but I think as like a starting point, you can see what you need by looking at other people. That's like, if you've never done
awesome.
One before,
thank you guys.
Or your legal department isn't familiar with it, it's a good way to start.
Okay, awesome.
Just
thank
as
you.
a disclaimer, we aren't lawyers, so
no, I got you. No, I won't. I'm not gonna like hold any of this. Like, we'll speak with our lawyer too, but I just wasn't sure if like anything needed to be registered for that. But okay, thank you guys so much.
Nothing needs to be registered, but you can always email me, and I can get back to you further. But
okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyone else have experience with contests or have any questions about formats or ones that they saw that work better than others? I guess raise your hand if you've run a contest before. I'd love to see like the hand raises. We're not so many people here. Okay, I see one hand raise so far. Anyone else raise their hand if you've run a contest? What about raise your hand if you've entered a contest on social?
Yeah, right, everybody.
There, now we have another one. Nobody else has entered, or? Okay, so, more people have entered, thank you. We have 4 people, so that's not bad. We're getting there, so the rest of you probably haven't. I think now after seeing this presentation, you'll start to notice more contests. Some are more discreet than others. Some just look like a picture and then you read the caption and they say giveaway time or contest time. If I'm talking about on social media, some you'll start to see actually promote it in different ways. So now after this talk, you might be a little bit, you might be surprised at how many you see.
Sure. Okay, so I just wanted to flip through. Each social medium has its own requirements, and I'm not going to go through all of these. I will put you to sleep. But again, if you want the deck, then just email us and we will send it to you. And all of these have links for, like for Instagram, you see right here, the link is at the top. So at any rate, Instagram and Facebook, obviously owned by the same company, they want to make sure that you have a disclaimer there that they are not involved and that they have no liability for it. For Twitter, it's important to make sure that you don't ask people to tweet the same thing over and over again. Facebook, we already covered that. Oh, one important thing on Facebook. You cannot require people to use personal timelines or friend connections to administer promotions. So if you want them to post on Facebook, they've got to be posting on your page. Now, everything's going to need a hashtag when people post. We'll get to that in 1 minute. Pinterest, you need to ask them to post on a theme, not post a specific photo, a specific graphic. So you can't say post, you know, brand ABC lipstick and tag it or whatever. You have to say, you know, say your lipstick thing is new colors of spring. Post about the new colors of spring on Pinterest and then enter. In YouTube, YouTube insists that when users post something for a sweepstakes or contest, that they own it, and you have to show the link to their guidelines. Of course, as Mimi said, you always need your terms and conditions. TikTok, you can enable brand content toggle, so that's cool. Text messaging, you must have the opt-ins, okay? FTC endorsement guidelines, these are very important. Not only do these affect when you have an influencer, but they also affect consumer promotions. If you're asking people to post something, there needs to be a hashtag, and that hashtag needs to either have blah, 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 sweepstakes entry or blah, 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 contest entry. Because the FTC requires that if the consumer is getting a benefit from posting, and that benefit meaning an entry, that it has to be totally disclosed. Back to you, Mimi.
I was on mute. One of the most important things that you should do to amplify and to grow entries is to share and make everything shareable. So think about your communication plan when you have this promotion. That should be just as important as the promotion in of itself. Do you tease it? What do you do during it? How do you maintain the promotion? Then how do you communicate with the winner? How do you communicate to tell everybody else that the contest is closed? I would recommend dedicated posts as a launch, a reminder, and then a last day. People forget there's so much going on in social media, or there's so much going on in our world every single day that might be excited when they see it. And then all of a sudden they realize that the day is coming up and they forgot. So anything you can do to help. The other thing is stories. Stories are super easy. You can throw those up. You can use countdowns. You can do polls. You can do all kinds of engaging things to get people excited around whatever promotion or contest that you have. You can even ask people to ask questions or answer or do a Q&A, depending on the kind of promotion that you have. We typically do something to tease, we announced it, and then we do the last day. That's kind of the standard practice that we do with a lot of our brands. We also then add a link in the bio depending on what it is. Oftentimes it's the T's and C's, so that if someone wants to enter and they want the details, it's all at the link in the bio. And we do a bunch of stories, again, depending on how long it is. The other thing that we do is to make sure that that content is pulsed strategically, because you don't want to bombard people, because then they get very annoyed. So you want to figure out, like, mindful how you can do it and make sure that you can engage people and get contest entries. I think the best practice is to just monitor engagement, see how many likes and comments that you have, see how many entries that you have. That will dictate how much promotion you need to either dial up or turn down. The other thing that we do is that you can actually boost the post. So you boost the post to increase the engagement and views. What we do is we make sure to have a specific target audience, if it's in the US, or specific areas or demographics that we want to engage in that contest. And then we run a campaign so that we can increase that amplification and increase the number of eyeballs that are going to be on the contest. And then we monitor the entries along the way.
Okay. Now it's time for our own little sweepstakes. So you could win an Amazon gift card. Remember, I told you there would be a little quiz. So if you would like to enter, you're going to put your name, your email, and your answers in the chat. And you see the two questions here. We'll leave them up for a couple minutes, and you could enter, and we could, while people are entering, we can field any more questions.
Does anyone have any questions on specific formats or rules or communication? So I think the first question is, name one difference between a sweepstakes and a contest. So if you want to put drop your answer into the chat to see if you as a little quiz to remember. And then the second one is just from that first slide, or just what you learned. What can a promotion do for a brand, your brand or business? What can doing any kind of promotion or contest, how can that help you?
So I'll leave this screen up for another minute or two.
But we're here to help. If you have questions, you want to get in touch later, we're always here to help.
And as I mentioned, please feel free to email us if you would like a copy of this presentation. Contains all of that social media guideline information, our contact information.
Thank you so much for having us today or for joining us for the past 45 minutes. We love to talk about all things social and contests. So we'd love to keep in touch. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, and we're here to help.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I will be sending everyone on our mailing list the link to the recording for this session. So please join our mailing list so you can get that information. Thank you so much, Marla and Mimi. I really appreciate
yeah, thanks guys. This was really helpful. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Posted on how
Rachel, if I subscribed to the mailing list, or if I subscribed at that link, is that the email you'll send the PowerPoint to?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you guys so much. I really enjoyed this.
Well, we're sending the PowerPoint to people who requested to us. It's not going to go out to, because some of the people who didn't. Some of the people who registered didn't come. So.
Okay.
So do you still have our email addresses?
Okay. Yes, I do. Perfect. I wrote those down. Do you want me to just email you for that?
Yeah, you could email both of us, or I'll share it with Mimi, or you email me.
Okay.
I'll share it with me.
Awesome. Sounds good, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, wait. Rachel, could you leave up the chat one more minute, please,
yes,
so that I can
absolutely. Yeah. We can also have a debrief after the session.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think I got it. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank you.